Hey, welcome back. This will be Genesis 34, a reading and a little bit of commentary. We'll talk about it. So let's get into it. Father God, I thank you for today. I thank you for personally for giving me laughter back, for giving me a lighthearted spirit back, for being with me as you've taken me through trials and fires to shape me to where I am now. Lord, I thank you for what's coming even though I can't see it. Father, as we dig into your word, I invite Holy Spirit here to lead us, be with us, guide us, tell us what you want us to know, put your finger on things, bring it to our mind. Show us new things. We want to hear from you. We want you to speak to us. We want to become that good soil where you plant the seed of your word and it produces fruit 30, 60, and 100. All this I give thanks for and ask in the name of your beautiful Son, Jesus. Amen. All right. Genesis 34. Read it and we'll talk about it a little bit. All right, verse 1. Now Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. All right, so she's just like, I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to go enjoy this beautiful scenery in God's country. I'm going to go see what everyone's doing. You know, catch up on the tea, if you will. So, verse 2. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and violated her. Uh-oh. That's not good. 3. His soul was strongly attracted to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the young woman and spoke kindly to the young woman. So Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, get me this young woman as a wife. Okay. Let's just pump the brakes. Like we're going to brake check somebody for a second. Violated her. She was raped. Okay, that's... Violated her is a fancy way to put it, but that's what happened. She was raped. So, you've got this man, this young boy, who takes this woman because he immediately has infatuation for her. Not love. Not love. Love would not cause you to do something like that. Love would cause you to be like, man, that girl is banging beautiful. Wow. I'm going to go find out about her. See if she's single or not. And see what she's about. Depending on how it goes, consult the Lord, see what he says. And if all is good with the Lord, if that's his will, if that's what he wants, then, as the kids say, shorty is mine. So that's not what happens here. This guy sees this girl and he's like, I don't really care what's going on. She's mine and I'm having her. No one's going to stop me. So he does. It's very predatorial. Very predatorial. And in modern society, that's kind of the name of the game. Is today in our culture, in Western culture, we're not looking to see if the girl is wife material we're looking to see if we can get in her pants. And if we do, then we'll figure out if she's wife material. But clearly she's not. I mean, if she's going to give it up easy, she's not wife material. Because the wife is not going to give that up to you. Wife's going to make you work for it because she knows she has some value and she respects herself. Right? She's not looking to just open herself up to anyone who's a smooth talker. She's opening herself up to a godly man when the Lord gives permission. Okay? So the sinful way that we have went or decided to go to get around these things it's terrible. You know, we know the things to say to somebody to disarm them. I was just talking about a friend to this today. Men and women have a natural blind grace for each other. Okay? Because if we really knew how bad each other actually were, there would be no sex, there would be no kids, and humanity would have died off a long time ago. You know, if as a man you really knew what that woman was thinking and that she had an agenda or had a plan and what it was, you'd stay all the way away from it. And ladies, the same thing is true. If you really knew what that man was thinking, you wouldn't get entangled with him in the first place because it's up to no good. So we have a natural grace, and I believe that that's there so that men and women can be attracted to each other in the proper way that God designed it, not men with men and women with women. That's not proper, that's not godly. But I believe that there's a natural blind spot, and what we call players are people who have learned how to take advantage of this natural blind grace in order to get things from someone that they want, but without having a commitment. They just keep them hooked, and then once they get bored, they let them go because they've already got another one lined up. Okay, so it's not necessarily about the person and what they're about and what they can offer. It's about conquering them. It's a hunter's game. Okay, this young boy here is psychotic. The definition of what we would call psychotic today, like fatal, almost fatal attraction, almost. She hasn't died yet, and there's been no death, but it's been pretty close. Okay, so this is a very evil situation. Okay, and then on top of it, the boy's like, "Hey, I know I raped her. Dad, you need to get me that woman because I want her. I want her to be." I'm gonna move this just a little bit. There we go. Excuse me. I want her to be my wife now that I've already destroyed and violated her innocence. Now I want to make an honest woman out of her. Come on, man. It doesn't work that way. Okay? So, you want to be careful with people who try to come on too strong. That's usually a sign that they're trying to accomplish something that's not good. You want to be careful of that. And it doesn't just have to do with sex. It could be in business. It could be with finances. It could be eating. It could be going somewhere. It could be the played out, tired game of who's the most dominant, who's the most powerful. It could be anything. If somebody comes on overly strong, it's usually because they're hiding something or they're planning something that's not good, not favorable. Okay? Verse 5. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were in the livestock field. Remember, Jacob's got 12 sons. So Jacob held his peace until they came. Then Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him. And the sons of Jacob came in from the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved and very angry, because he had done a disgraceful thing in Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter, a thing which ought not to be done. Okay, now you also want to consider the fact that this woman was probably a virgin, okay? And now that she's defiled, her perceived value is gone. Okay, so she has just been rendered valueless by a young man who has absolutely no self-control, and then also doesn't think there's anything wrong with what he's done. You want to talk about psychopathic situation. I mean, the trauma involved here has got to be tremendous, okay? Jacob finds out about it, and he's like, all right, I'm not going to make an emotional decision, although I could. I'm going to wait, and we'll deal with this in a little bit. Then the sons come in, and they're like, yo, no, he's got an answer for this. We're not just going to sit back and let this happen. He's got an answer. WTF, okay? So, 8. But Hamor spoke with them, saying, the soul of my son Sheshem longs for your daughter. Please give her to him as a wife, and make marriages with us. Give your daughters to us, and take our daughters to yourselves. So you shall dwell with us, and dwell in the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade in it, and acquire possessions for yourselves in it. Okay. Notice the father did not say, I'm sorry for what my son has done. There was no apology. There's no remorse. There's no, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. This should never have happened. There only is, hey, you know what? Why don't you give your daughter over to me? This is a businessman who doesn't care about people. This is a man who thinks that he's the most important thing, and he's not considering the fallout that should happen to anyone else. That's not even in there. Okay? Furthermore, this man is not from the tribe of Israel. So, now Jacob's bloodline has been forcefully made impure. If they should have a kid, his bloodline has been forcefully made impure. Because if you remember, Isaac tells Jacob, stay away from the women, the Canaanite women. Right? Stay away from the non-Jewish women. Only choose wives from our bloodline. Okay? But now that just has been violated. Okay? And this, you could look at this as God is trying to set up a pure bloodline, and Satan is trying to defile it. Because on down the line, Jesus is going to be born from the bloodline, and Satan knows that'll happen eventually, and he doesn't want to allow this to happen. Okay? So Satan can interrupt God's plans, but God's plans will prevail. There's no debating that. He can do things to us to cause us to interrupt God's plans, or make them go a different direction, or stall them for a little while, but the word of the Lord will prevail. Okay? 11. Then Sheshem said to her father and her brothers, let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me I will give. Ask me ever so much dowry and gift, and I will give according to what you say to me. But give me the young woman as a wife. Okay? This man is what we would consider today a narcissist. This is a man that does not care about the overall well-being or the good of anyone around him. He does not care about taking responsibility or accountability for anything that he does wrong. He doesn't think he does anything wrong. He does whatever it takes to get what he wants and doesn't see anything wrong with that, regardless of if it hurts other people. And then he will try to buy people out or win people over with gift giving. This is a textbook narcissist type. So he's going to be very insecure and low boundaries, a manipulator. Okay? We've got that all the way back in Genesis. All the way. 13. But the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father and spoke deceitfully because he had defiled Dinah their sister. And they said to him, we cannot do this thing, to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a reproach to us. But on this condition we will consent to you. If you will become as we are, if every male of you is circumcised, then we will give our daughters to you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. But if you will not heed us and be circumcised, then we will take our daughter and be gone. That seems like a reasonable plan, right? Hey, we're going to do it right. This is a grave thing that happened, and we are going to institute the law of our God and the order of our God, and we're going to do it the right way. You're either going to follow suit or you're not. If you don't, we'll be off. If you do, then we'll bring you into the fold. Seems reasonable, right? But it did say deceitful. I wonder what that's about. 18. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. So the young man did not delay to do the thing because he delighted in Jacob's daughter. I'll do anything for that woman. These men, he was more honorable than all the household of his father. This dude is the most honorable out of his dad's house. And he just raped a woman. And now they want to become part of God's family. Okay? Holiness. It says later on in the Word in the New Testament that God's people are a chosen people, a holy priesthood. Okay, I think it says in 1 Peter, maybe, somewhere around there. Holy, don't think of holy as better than thou. I'm better than you. I'm more holy than you. That's not it. That's not it at all. Holy starts with being set apart. So holy is, no, I don't do life the way that you do it. I do it differently over here. You guys follow yourself. I follow the Lord. I follow my King Jesus Christ. That's holy. Okay? Any type of I'm better than you or I am worth more than you that comes in there is all human pride, human ego. That's not part of holy. Holy is just set apart for a specific purpose in God's eyes, okay? So the children of Israel, Jacob's family, has been set apart. They are holy. Now, the wicked, sinful, bottom of the barrel scrapers are trying to force their way in to defile the holiness that God is trying to set up in his people through Jacob. Okay? He's trying to, the evil one, Satan, is trying to sow a seed of cancerous worldliness into the holiness that God is setting up. Okay? That's kind of the situation that's going on here. Okay? Because it's bigger than the people. These people are going to die. Whatever. But the patterns and the habits and the living standards that are established while they are alive are going to continue on. And that's when we get generational curses and generational blessings from. So right here, Satan is trying to establish a generational cycle of tainting the gene pool. Okay? That's the attempt. 20. And Hamor and Sheshem, his son, came to the gate of their city and spoke with the men of their city, saying, These men are at peace with us. Therefore, let them dwell in the land and trade for it. For indeed the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us as wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only on this condition. Only on this condition will the men consent to dwell with us, to be one people. If every male among us is circumcised as they are circumcised, will not their livestock, their property, and every animal of theirs be ours? Will we not, if we do this, won't we be able to steal all of their blessings from them and rob them of the source of goodness that is following them? Won't we be able to get that godliness for ourselves? That's a narcissist. That's narcissistic type people. They don't want you. They want the light that you have. They want the goodness that you have. And they're going to do whatever it takes to get it. There's no low that is too low for someone like that. They will pretend to be good to you, to learn your weaknesses, and exploit them to strip you of the goodness, not knowing that it isn't even you that has it. It's Christ within you that gave it to you. And they could just go get it for themselves. Why do they got to destroy you for it? Because that's the way it works. They don't get that they could have it for their own. They don't want you to have it because they don't either. That's the ego. Okay? That's these people here. So Jacob, they know that Jacob is blessed by God. They don't want to get their own blessing. They don't want Jacob to have the blessing either. And this man, Sheshem, raped Jacob's daughter Dinah as a foot in the door to rob Jacob's blessings from him. That's the spiritual context that's going on here, okay? Only let us consent to them, and they will dwell with us. 24. And all who went out of the gate of his city heeded Hamor and Sheshem his son. Every male was circumcised, all who went out of the gate of his city. Okay? So they cut off the foreskin of the penis of all these men. Okay? 25. Now it came to pass on the third day, when they were in pain, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword and came boldly upon the city and killed all the males. And they killed Hamor and Sheshem and his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Sheshem's house and went out. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the city because their sister had been defiled. They took their sheep, their oxen, and their donkeys, what was in the city and what was in the field, and all their wealth. And their little ones and their wives they took captive, and they plundered even all that was in their houses. Okay. That was the plan all along. Okay, once the sons of Jacob realized what was going on, this was the plan. Okay. God does not mess around about his people. Now we can argue whether this was God led or God allowed. That's for him to know, and that's for him to decide. Okay? He's the boss. He gets to say what goes. I don't get to say what goes. I just say, yes, sir. That's it. That's my portion. Okay? So whether this was God led or God allowed, it really doesn't matter. Because if God didn't want it to happen, he would have stopped it. Okay? That's what you should know. He could have stopped it, he would have stopped it, but he allowed it. Okay? And the main principle you should take from this is God does not play about his people. He's not messing around about his people. If he says he's going to do a thing for you and he sets you aside, he is not going to let you get defiled or tainted without somebody answering for it. It's not going to happen. You can read all through the Bible, and Lord willing, we'll do that on this channel. You can read all through the Bible. Nobody gets away with bringing evil to God's people. You may kill God's people, but he will come back later, and you will pay for it. Okay? That's because he's our Father, and he looks after us as a father. He's the good Father. Okay? So one man does a thing, and now all the males of the city are gone. So what does this mean? This means that entire tribe is getting ready to be canceled out in a couple of generations. Once, if they had any kids, once those kids grow up and have kids of their own, now this blood is basically gone. So one man's action erased an entire tribe of people. That's the weight that God will bring if you mess with his chosen people, his anointed ones. And you are. You are one of his chosen. You are one of his anointed. This is how fiercely he's looking out for you. Okay? He'll let you get burned. He'll let you get cut. He will avenge you. Right here. And it will be worse. It will be worse and better than what you could do on your own. Because there will be no counterattack when God hits back for you. Okay? There will be no counterattack when God defends you. Okay? 30. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have troubled me by making me obnoxious among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And since I am few in number, they will gather themselves together against me and kill me. I shall be destroyed, my house and I." But they said, "Should he treat our sister like a harlot?" Or in other words, you're worried about your reputation and they just treated our sister like a whore? That's what you're worried about? What are we supposed to do? Do nothing? Just sit back and let it happen? Man, I love reading the Bible sometimes because it's... People say, oh, the Bible is boring and outdated. And that's how you know they've never picked it up and read it themselves. That's how you know. Oh, it's outdated. No, it's not. It is more relevant now than it ever has been. So, sometimes God leads you. Sometimes God allows it. You don't get to know that. You shouldn't be concerned with it. That's not your portion. Your portion is just to try to follow him as best you can. If you feel like God is setting you apart, and you'll know that God is setting you apart because you'll try to mix with others, but there's something keeping a distance. Just somehow you don't fit all the way in. That's how you know you're set apart for something else. Okay, like you try to make friends with people, and it just isn't, like, you just don't fit. It just isn't working out. Like it doesn't click. That's how you know you're different. You're set apart for something else. Probably something greater. Because God's like, no, your purpose is too high. I don't want you messing with that. They are going to ruin you. I need you to stay away from that. You can go like kind of mingle with them a little bit and kind of have some exposure to it, but I'm not going to let them turn you into them. I've got greater for you, okay? everybody thinks that God's people are timid, bashful, and weak. And Jesus says in the Gospels that the meek shall inherit the earth. The definition of meek is strength under control. Okay? Not passivity. And it's important. You have to have strength first. Then you reel it back in a little bit. Okay? You harness it. You can't harness it and then get strength. That's weak. That doesn't even deserve to be respected. Okay? Real meekness is a man or a woman, a man who's like, I could crush you. I could take you all the way out. I just don't. Because I choose not to. And instead, I'm going to extend a loving hand this time. That's meekness. Like, you know this person is not to be messed with. And they have an intensity to them, a ferocity to them. Okay? And the church has gone the route of saying that this is bad because it intimidates people, it strikes fear in people, and it makes people feel uncomfortable. Well, yeah, that's the point. God ain't no punk. You mess with God, and he's going to hit back. And when he does, it's going to be brutal. He's long-suffering. He's got a lot of patience. But when it runs out, it's done. I mean, look, he flooded the earth. He rained hailfire and brimstone down on Sodom and Gomorrah. All right? He's not messing around. He gives us a long leash, a lot of opportunities, but he's not messing around. When it's done, it's done. Okay? And God's people are called to be that way. We are called to extend our hand and bring them into doing life the way that we do it. But we are also called to have a little edge and have a little teeth so that we can reinforce the boundaries and the standards and the expectations that are set on us by the Lord that we serve. We are not called to assimilate to all the other cultures. We are not called to do that. We're called to be in the world, not of the world. Okay, so here, I believe that Jacob's children, God's people, display a pretty good example of what it is like when God hits back. They didn't do anything to start it, but they ended it. And Jacob is more worried about his reputation than doing what is right. A godly man will do what is right even if he's the only one doing it. Even if everyone else thinks he's wrong, a godly man will do what's right by following the Lord. And sometimes the Lord calls you to put a sword in your hand. Okay? So, that's Genesis 34. Yep, that was Genesis 34. We're reading in some commentary. We'll see you next time.